Hello, high flyers. Hope you are doing great. This is Sheikh Safa, your maths ma'am. Welcome back to BSS Online Education. Since you all are currently stuck at home, I know most of you are getting bored in this quarantine time. During this pandemic, try to stay motivated and get some tips and tricks that will get you into a good schedule to do your homework. Don't leave everything to the last minute or procrastinate. Spend quality time with your family. Help your mom with household chores and cooking. Do not forget to work out every day. Today, I will show you how to find the surface area and volume of different shapes like rectangular prism, triangular prism, and cylinder. What we are going to do now is to practice finding the surface area of a triangular prism, which consists of two congruent triangles and three rectangular surfaces. Let's start by finding the area of two triangular surfaces. So we can see that we have a right triangle here, and the base of this right triangle is 4 and its height is 3. To find the area of any triangle, you multiply its base by its height and then divide that product by 2. So 4 times 3 is 12 and half of 12 is 6. And because the area, the triangular surface is congruent to the first one, they are going to be equal in area. So if this one has an area of 6, the other one has an area of 6 as well. Let's find the area of this rectangular surface right here. Now, the dimensions of this rectangle are 4 and 8. So if we multiply 4 times 8, that gives us an area of 32. Let's find the area of this rectangle right here. The dimensions of this rectangle right here are 3 and 8. And 3 times 8 is 24. We have one rectangle left, which is this one right here. And the dimensions of this rectangle are 8 by 5. And the product of 8 and 5 is 40. Now that we know the area of 5 surfaces, let's go ahead, add them together to get our total surface area. So we have 6 plus 6, which is 12. Then we have to add 12 to 32, which is 44. And then 44 plus 24 more is 68. And 68 plus 40 more is 108. So the total surface area of triangular prism is 108 square. What we are going to do here is to find the surface area of this cylinder in terms of pi. We are going to use this equation right here. 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Now this equation is really broken into two main parts. This part of our equation will allow us to find the area of the two circular surfaces, and this part of our formula will allow us to figure out what the lateral area is of our cylinder. Remember, the lateral area means the side of the shape. So we are going to do first is to identify the value of the radius and the value of the height in this problem. So we are going to rewrite this as 2 pi times radius squared, and in this case the radius is 10, so we substitute radius with 10, and on the right hand side of our plus sign we have radius again, which we substitute with 10 again. We have to multiply that by height of the cylinder, which is 25 centimeters. Now that we have plugged all these values into these appropriate places, next is to simplify the left-hand part of our equation. And before this plus sign here, simplify everything to the right-hand side of our plus sign. So we will take 10 to the second power, which is 100. Then we take 100 and then multiply that by 2 is 200. We have to take 200 and multiply that pi. 200 times pi will give us the area of the two circular surfaces. And to the right of our plus sign, we have to multiply 25 times 10, which is 250. And 250 by 2, which is 500. So 500 pi will give us the lateral area of our cylinder. Next, we can combine these two terms here by adding 200 pi and 500 pi, which is 700 pi. So it was actually that simple. The surface area of this cylinder in terms of pi is 700 pi square centimeters. Let's say you had to use 3.14 for pi. Well, then you would just take 700 and multiply that by 3.14. That's the rest to it. We figure out the surface area of the cylinder in terms of. In this video, what we're going to do is to practice finding the surface area of a rectangular prism. Now, surface area of any object is really just finding the individual area of its surface of three-dimensional object and taking those results and adding them together. Any rectangular prism is composed of 6 rectangles. We can take a three-dimensional rectangular prism and unfold it into two-dimensional form to see that it is composed of 6 different rectangles. So if we can just find the area of each one of these rectangles, then add them together, we can find the surface area of this object. One thing that we should be aware when dealing with rectangular prisms is that its surface is another surface that is identical in area to it. So if we look at these two surfaces, we can say that they are congruent to each other. So if we know the surface, this rectangle, we automatically know the area of this rectangle. And if we know the area of this rectangle, then we know the surface of this rectangle. Of course, those two rectangles are congruent as well. Let's divide the rectangular prism into 6 parts: bottom, top, left, right, front, and back. The base of this rectangle is 2, and the height is 5. The top part also has the same base and height. The left rectangle has a base of 5, and the height, which is also 5. The right rectangle is same as the left one, which is 5 and 5. The front rectangle, which is thinner, has a base of 2 and height 5. The same goes for the back rectangle. The area of the rectangle is base times height, or BH. So 5 times 2 is 10, 5 2s are 10, 5 times 5 is 25, 5 5s are 25, 5 2s are 10, 5 2s are 10. So the sum total is 90 square millimeter. Let's divide the rectangular. To find the volume of the box needed to pack this desk, multiply the length times width times height of the desk. Volume measurements are given in cubic units. For example, cubic feet or cubic meter. Volume is the way space is measured. Space could be a room, a box, warehouse, or the inside of automobile engine. Volume is the product or multiplication of quantities measured in 3 directions. In here, volume is the solid that has been shaped, and it accounts for every one of the smaller cubes. In this particular example, the top layer is 6 times 6 or 36 cubic centimeter. Because there are 5 layers of 36 cubes each, then the total volume is 36 times 5 or 180 cubic units. These formulas define the volume of the certain shapes. The rectangular prism, which is the area of the base times height or length. The rectangular prism, which is the area of the continuous cross-section times height or length. The cylinder, which is the area of the circle times height or length. For example, find the volume in inches of the rectangular prism. The volume of the prism equals 15 times 12 times 24, or 4,320 cubic inches. Find the volume in feet of the rectangular box. The box is in the shape of a rectangular prism. Two heights are found. One of the rectangular base is 15 and the second one of the length of the prism is 25. Volume equals area of the base of the rectangle times height or length of the box. So the area of the base is 14 by 15 divided by 2 equals 105 square feet times the height of 25. The volume is 2625 cubic feet. Another example. Find the volume of this water tank if the height is 30 feet and the width 24 feet. The volume of cylinder equals area of the circle times height or length. The width of the cylinder is a ton because radius needed equals 12 feet. We calculate 3.14 times 12 squared times 30 equals 13,564.8 cubic feet. For example, that's all for today. Thank you.